Hi guys, some of you have asked for a quick update on how my hoist lift works. Recall my first video showed how I put this thing together, and now that it's getting to winter time, I'm going to switch the Jeep to winter mode, which means putting the soft top away and putting the hard top on. So I'll try to do a better job on showing you how the system works. Recall it's a Racor heavy lift. I modified it, I built some brackets, and I'll show you the details in this video. I'm at the top of my lift here, and I know that there are a couple of different ways to strap the Jeep top to the Racor. This is how I did it. And I think I'm going to change it in the future, but I've got one strap going across the front, directly hooked to two carabiners or two eyelets. And these straps need to be ratchet straps because they have to be tight. Otherwise the slop, at least in my case, lets the top droop down too far. Then I've got one strap, that one, going under in here and then symmetrically on the other side, and they're both attached to the eye bolts from the lift itself. What I intend to do, there's about, I don't know, 5 inches of additional lift capacity. I'm going to move this down and try to get another inch or so. That way I don't have to crank down so hard on these straps. Okay, so the next step is the lift is at the maximum. I'm gonna start sliding this forward, and then I'll come back and unlock it and lower it and show you how that works. I need to shorten up these straps. But I'll show you how this whole thing transitions. I'll put the camera down and then I'll show you how it moves. Right now, it needs to move forward a bit because the back glass is open. And the back glass being open is pretty important because you don't want that pressure from the back straps pulling on or pushing on the glass, because it will fracture. So I'll show you how this thing moves back and forth. It doesn't need to go far. I had to put the camera down, and then I'll show you. Okay, I'll show you how this works. That. It's not an easy, or I should say, it's not a super free glide, but that's okay. There's quite a bit of pressure, but it certainly doesn't take a hell of a lot of effort. It's very reasonable to move back and forth. And now I'm going to pull the Jeep in. Actually, I'll hook up the hoist, the hook, and I'll show you the transition up and down before I pull the Jeep in. So the hoist comes with one roughly 3-foot section. That's not nearly long enough, so I bought a aluminum tube. I put a fastener here to couple them together, and then I took the end link and I put it in here. So I've got a little bit of a longer section to work with, and I'll show you how that works. Now let me put the camera down. I need 2 hands. Let me show you the red part here is the brake. you pull it forward to disengage it so that you can spin the hook. And so let me show you how that transitions. I'll put the camera on the tripod and show you how far down it can transition. So pretty easy overall. I've got another couple turns, which means I can lower it another, I don't know, 3 inches or so. I may end up doing the cables totally over with a little bit of a longer cable, so I can get a little bit lower lower travel, because I do use this to store and lift other things like a table saw, and I'm gonna put the rest of the Jeep parts on here for winter storage. But in general, that's how it works. So I'm gonna put the soft top away. I'm gonna pull this thing back up. I'll show you how that works if you want. At least up high enough so that the Jeep can be driven under it. Okay. And here we go. Needs higher torque. There we go. So that's it. I'm not an expert in putting the Jeep top up and down, so you guys can see the other videos on how people do that. I certainly am not an expert. I struggle with putting the cover back on. I'm not even sure that it's possible. So I'm not sure how I'm going to store the top. It's just going to get dusty, and maybe I'll put a tarp over it. But in general, all of that stuff is going to go on the rack along with this stuff and probably a bunch of other things. So thanks for watching, and let me know if you have any questions.